The best marketer wins. It's really that simple. You don't have to be the best realtor. You have to be the best marketer, right? So your job is to make sure that you exist in your local market and you're an option when someone's thinking about buying or selling.
Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome to another episode of A-List Conversations with the Real Estate Investors Group. Today I got Gogo Bethke, and she is going to be sharing with us her journey. She's now at 1,550 realtors in her team. She has, going to do 2.1 billion in transactions this year, and she's got a lot of exciting things. She's got a Master Your Money Bootcamp coming up, and so we're going to talk into a lot of things. So hey, Gogo, how you doing?
Thank you so much for having me. It's actually Bethke. The last name is pronounced
Bethke.
Yep, I know.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And that's actually from Transylvania, right? Romania.
Well, my husband, I am Hungarian by nationality, born and raised in Romania, just to complicate things, right? In Transylvania, Portland. Okay. But my husband's from Michigan, so it's his last name. So his last name is German. Nobody could pronounce my real first name, so everybody called me Gogo, and then I got his last name. So it's a totally different name than I was born into, but I'm rocking the Gogo Bethke for the rest of my life.
Okay. It's going good, I think. Not bad. Okay. So tell me, so I know that your personal story, you started, you came here when you were, 2003, and you were waiting tables and stuff. And then all of a sudden someone told you that you would be a great realtor. I'm just kind of curious about how that happened and how you actually plunged into it to become a realtor. Now, obviously having, mega success.
Thank you. So I didn't get licensed. I came to the U.S. in 2003, and I did all kinds of odd jobs. I mean, being a server was just one of the odd jobs that I did, right? I had all kinds of jobs. So a babysitter, I worked in a jewelry store, I worked in a plastics department, I worked shipping and receiving, I worked as a front desk person, you name it, I've done all kinds of random jobs. I have a restaurant food safety auditor certification, like you name it, I've done it. Wow. I like to joke and did the process of elimination, what I don't want to do when I grow up, right? And not until 2011, at the time I had my boys. So my boys were 2 and 4. And I was a server at the time because I wanted to stay home with them and just work a couple hours in the afternoon so I can still raise my own children, right? So I was a server at a local restaurant, and my neighbor stopped by one day. I was on the driveway with the kids, and she goes, Gogo, you would make such a good realtor. You know everybody on Facebook, right? And I was like, I had to be on Facebook because that was my way of keeping touch with my family at home. I was 21 when I moved to the U.S. So I had a whole other life, right? This year, I lived for 21 years in the United States. So it's the same amount of my life I spent in Romania than I spent in the U.S. So I spent a lot of time on Facebook because that was my only way of not being homesick. That was my only way of being able to see my past life and all the people and everybody that, how they're having kids and raising kids and getting jobs and going on vacation and all that. So because of that, I spent a lot of time on Facebook. So my neighbor thought I would make a great realtor because I had a social presence. This is more on the personal Facebook, right? Not a business page or anything like that. So, but she did put a bug in my ear. I started playing with the idea. And then in that same year, I went and got licensed. I passed right away. Thank God I did my exam one time. I remember being in that waiting room and people are like, oh, it's my 7th time. Oh, it's my 3rd time. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is this hard or what? I thought I'm just going to go in there and be a realtor tomorrow, right? And thankfully I passed right away. I clicked math because I don't have to translate math, right? Where all the, widower and, lender, whatever those words were. I was like, please just don't give me English, just give me math because I don't have to translate math, right? Math is math in every language. You look at it, the numbers mean the same thing. So I prayed for math and I got a lot of math and I passed right away. And so I was a licensed realtor, and that was 2011. I had a hard start, meaning I made $16,000 in my first year. And the rest is history. Fast forward, let's just say I'm doing a little better, a little better.
Gotcha. A lot little better. Okay, that sounds good. So tell me a little bit about this. So obviously, your neighbor saw it in you that you had kind of the knack for building a presence on social media, even if it was personal. Obviously, this is mainly how you have grown your team now. So can you tell us more about your team, Gogo, and how it expanded over the years?
Yeah, so we call it the Team Gogo organization. My name happens to be Gogo, but it's not my team, right? I look at it as agents on the Gogo, busy agents, go-getters. So when I switched to a brokerage, I want to just clarify something. I'm not running the team as most realtors know what team means. I'm running more like an organization, right? Or a downline organization, as I like to call it. Yes, we named it Team Gogo, so it's confusing because we named it Team in a way. I consider it a team in a way that, in a sense, that we do everything together. We train together. We do a lot of masterminds. We help each other grow. We share the knowledge. There's a lot of training in the Team Gogo organization, right? So we're a team that way, but we don't take a cut from each other. Nobody owns anybody anything. We're running our own individual businesses. So I was a realtor with Real Estate One for 7.5 years, and I switched to Keller in 2018. And at Keller, I learned profit share. And then because profit share opened my eyes, I really got interested about revenue share, and that's when I switched to EXP. So at EXP, revenue share, which means that you can grow an organization if you want to, or downline if you want to, which means bringing agents to the company, and then you get paid a certain amount of every agent's commission that's in your organization, right? So that's what we call a Team Gogo organization. So today, I've been with EXP now for 5.5 years. Today, I have 1,550 agents in the Team Gogo organization. And we did $2.1 billion collectively in sales last year. And hopefully this year we'll do the same, if not more. The market is a tiny little bit slower per transaction. Per transaction price is higher, but transactions are down a little bit, right? So I'm not exactly sure where we're going to close out the year, but I'm thinking at a minimum of 2.7 million, ideally up to 4. Sorry, not million, billion. Sorry, with a B.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it when it comes to Team Gogo organization and, how it grew. I've never called an agent. I think that's what you mentioned, right? So I've never called an agent. Yeah. I've done everything what I call agent attraction, right? So I did it with the power of social media, just talking about the opportunity, what EXP is about, the opportunity, what Team Gogo is about, and how they can partner with us. And I would invite them to come and have a Zoom call with me. So I probably had thousands of hours of Zoom calls to the organization that I have today. But I'm very proud of it, what we were able to achieve. And then I built a bootcamp off of that. I think you wanted to make sure we mentioned that. So
yeah,
when I get really good at something, I like to share that knowledge, right? Because there's no point of everybody else now having to figure it out, right? Why to figure it out if somebody has it figured out? So I built a bootcamp that I call Gogo's Bootcamp. You guys can all go check it out, gogosbootcamp.com. And the idea of it, that one, is I literally teach the step-by-step process of agent attraction. So I'm not a recruiter. I don't do cold calls. I don't do scripts. I never dialed an agent. I'm not hitting people up and blowing up their DMs and all that. My whole idea is how to do it organically, where you build an audience, and that audience, when they raise their hand that they're ready to switch a brokerage, they reach out to you. So that's what I teach. I call it agent attraction and not recruiting. And I got a 2 Comma Club award for Gogo's Bootcamp Agent Attraction, which is built on ClickFunnels, right? So we got, which for the audience, if you don't know what a 2 Comma Club award is, that means that we have generated over, 7 digits, right, in income with that funnel. And then since then, I actually got 2 more 2 Comma Clubs, so now I have 3.
Oh, wow. Look at you. You're just rocking the Comma Club awards. That's incredible. I know you're probably going to go to the what is it, the platinum, the 10 million?
I don't know if I'm going to be able to reach that, but of course I would love to, right? I'm a little bit, let's be brutally honest on this podcast here today. I'm a little bit burnt out. Like, I have worked like a mad woman in the last few years. So my goal is really not to build another product. My goal is not another 2 Comma Club award. I guess my goal now is more of an impact in other people's lives, because I believe that I get, one of my favorite saying is the Zig Ziglar quote, is that you can have absolutely anything in life the more people you help to get what they want, right? So now I don't make impact more on that side and create more of a passive residual income for myself, that we're not having to create products and have a whole sales team and chase the next income, right? So I'm more in for making an impact in other people's life now, public speaking and podcasts and the go-getter community and that kind of stuff, and enjoy my life.
Right. Which brings me, up to my next question. You said you were building a community. Is it go-getter?
Yeah. So I'm calling go-getter community, because I finish every call with go-getter guys.
Okay, awesome.
We teach in a subject, and then I'm like, okay, now go get on. Now go get your people. Like, go put it, implement it, and put it into motion and see the end result of what you just learned, right? So it's called GoGetOnCommunity.com if you want to go check it out. Every month we have one big live, but we just hit our first anniversary. And for our first anniversary, we're doing a whole week live, 5 days, and we call it Master Your Money. Because I feel like there's so many, especially in the real estate industry, there's so many ways we learn how to go sell the next house, right? How to go get a next listing agreement, how to market on Facebook, how to build a landing page, like, all of these different things. What I never got training for is what to do with the money after you make it.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, okay, so hold on. I remember the year I learned this lesson, I made twice the amount of income. And because the taxes that I had to pay in, I actually took home less money than I did the year before. And I was like, okay, so let me get this straight. So I'm going to work twice as hard to make less money than I did the year before, just because I'm going to, can I say, piss it out on taxes on the back end? Beep it out. If you have to beep it out, I totally understand. So I really spent the last few years on studying money and what to do with money. And I guess that's where real estate investments are going to come about. But I'm also huge on knowing how to reduce your taxable income, knowing, understanding what your CPA is telling you and what your financial advisor is telling you, and how to have 800 plus credit score, and should you invest into Bitcoin and on top of your real estate investments, and should you start a digital product, and if so, how much time should you invest into it, and how much money should you make passively with that digital product, and should you do you qualify for this tax credit that could potentially give you back $32,000 of your taxable income as a 1099 employee. So now I spend a lot of time on that end of learning, after you made the money, what to do with that money, so you're actually building wealth. Because I see so many poor realtors, right? Like, they make all this money, but then somehow it just goes right out at the back end, and they don't know where it came from, they don't know where it went. So next year they have to go and do it again, right? Because they're because they're unemployed, so sad, as a realtor every single year. So now I'm doing it all. Now I'm teaching mindset, because I'm so huge on mindset. If you don't have the right inches between your ears, doesn't matter what opportunity gets slapped right in front of you, you're never going to take action, right? I'm huge on figuring out of who you are and staying in your lane, so you don't have to work, right? Like, for me, I get to do what I love and I get to pay for it, right? I don't have to, right? To me, everything I do doesn't feel like work. And I'm figuring out what systems you need to automate your life, right? So then you're not spending time like as a hamster wheel, like running in circles, right? Like, the idea is to work less and make more money, and then take that money, invest it, and turn it into wealth, right? For, to leave a legacy for your family. Because I came for the American dream. So I want to be able to share the knowledge and I learned, and turned my $200 into multi-millions, right? And I came to this country. And so that's the whole idea with the Gogo community. Not only that we do lives and I share my knowledge and I bring in my industry friends once a month, we do a massive live, but also they have direct access to my whole team. So they have a Tuesday call and a Wednesday call with my team, my 14 assistants, right? And they can ask them anything. So if they're stuck with technology, if they stuck with, hey, how do you run Gogo's calendar? How do you create a podcast? How do you run a TV show? Like, whatever that is, they can ask my team absolutely anything. And that's GoGetTheMcommunity.com. Inside of that, in July, we're doing the Master Your Money 5-day live. That's a totally different fee for that. But if you go to GoGetTheMcommunity.com, you get to see it. And I hope that you guys decide to join in and learn money.
That's awesome, man. It sounds like a very important part. It's not only about how you make your money, but also how do you keep it and multiply it, right?
Yeah.
So I think you're serving a very, very big need there. And I want to really touch on something. You mentioned you did, thousands of interviews with all these realtors, to be or, whatever. I really want to know, like, what your experience is with them, and what are the kind of the defining factors of a realtor that makes, that's in the top 1%. If anybody's listening, you've interviewed all of them, you can tell, how the good ones are versus the bad ones. So if you could give us some light on that.
Oh gosh, how much time we got over here?
Just briefly.
Just briefly. I think the number one is their schedule. I always tell them, show me your schedule, I'll show you your bank account. Okay. I'm super scheduled. Like, I do the same boring stuff over and over. Ask me what I do Tuesday at 11, a podcast. Ask me what I do Friday at 10. It's an agent attraction call. Ask me what I'm doing all day Monday, back to back Zoom calls for all of my businesses. Get anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and a half, depending how complicated that business is, right? So I'm super scheduled. And what I see most common trait of super successful people is their schedule. They do the same thing over and over again, even when it's like, even when you lost that excitement for the project a long time ago, you're still doing it because that's what you said you would, right? So I think that is the number one. Number two, I would say they're all next to each other, right? I don't want to put them in chronological order, but I think it's just as important your mindset. And by mindset, I mean, how much do you study your craft? How good are you at what you do? And I feel like the more I study, the more events I go to, and the more masterminds I join, and the more online courses I buy. And, like I spend hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in my career and knowledge. Let me put it this way. The person who I was that made $16,000 in my first year of real estate is not the same person who makes multi-millions every single year. I couldn't even find, besides the fact that it's the same name and same DNA, I couldn't even find that person in there, because you can't build a multi-million-dollar empire with a $16,000 mindset. You just can't. Yeah. You have to grow as a human, and you have to almost leave like your old self behind. So it's super surprising to me when, like, no matter how busy I am on the calls every single week, right? And then I see the agents who are struggling, but they're too busy to show up to the training.
Does make sense.
Right? So I would say that's super important. Number three, I would probably say handle it as a business, especially in the real estate industry. Many people kind of look at it as a hobby because they watch HGTV and they're like, well, I'm going to do this part-time Thursdays from 3 to 5. And I'm like, no, it's not. That is not how it works, right? Yeah. They don't create a brand. They don't have that brand everywhere. They just kind of, they're Brighton favorite realtor on one website, and they kind of have a YouTube channel. They post like twice a day and then nothing for 6 months. And it's just like they not handling it as a business, right? If you had a 9 to 5 and you decided not to show up for 2 weeks, you would be fired, right? But somehow expected that if they don't show up for 2 weeks in their real estate business, that you would still make income that you want because it didn't work, right? Yeah. Money, right. In my opinion, it's for a while, not forever. Thank God it's not forever. But for a while, to make money, you have to trade time at first, right? And eventually you're going to trade times and automations and leverage, right? Because you're going to use systems and leveraging other people's time, right? But at first, it's definitely your time for money. And I feel like many realtors don't take it as a job, don't take it seriously. And there is this thing called the real estate roller coaster, right? So they do this, and they get all these leads, and then they're so busy, and then they have to deal with these leads, and oh my gosh, I have to get to the closing table, and they finally get to the closing table, and they stop doing what they did in this period of time, right? They stop doing their lead generation because they're so busy babysitting their current clients. So when they close, they're like, oh shit, I have nothing to work on, and they go down, and there's no income. Then they're gonna do lead generation, do it all that stuff again to get those next 5 clients. And then you're so busy with those 5 clients that you don't do your lead generation to continue on. So it's a continuous real estate roller coaster, right? And I think as soon as this is where the schedule comes in, if you learn to do the same thing over and over again, because it's in your calendar and you said you would, then you're going to remove that roller coaster, because as long as you're doing the same thing, you should have the same result, unless something changes, right? If the market changes, you have to change with it. All of those minute things. But I think that's the major part that I see in the producing agents versus the not so successful.
Okay, all right, yeah, that's really, really clear. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you shared that with the audience. So tell me, you have a TV show. You have a show like Gogopreneur. Like, what is this like? What are you doing on there? What do you share?
Oh my gosh. So Gogopreneur originally was a TV show because I had this network, national network reach out to me called Your Home TV. So you guys can go on Roku and download Your Home TV, and you get to see Gogopreneur on there among many other shows. So you can see it on television or any streaming device through Roku or directly on Your Home TV. So you can go directly to Your Home TV, or you can go to Roku and download the Your Home TV network and watch it through there. And so originally it was a TV show based on what is my life like when I go to speaking engagement and, having events at my house and all of those things. And then I got asked to be on radio. And I was like, oh, I don't have content for radio because I have visual content, not sound content, right? The sound of the TV show wouldn't make sense without the visual portion of it. So I was like, okay, I don't have time. A great idea. I don't have time for a whole new other business. So I decided to change the layout of the Gogopreneur TV show to a podcast style. So today, Gogopreneur is a podcast, radio, and TV show. So you can find us everywhere, from the YouTubes to the Your Home TVs to the Rokus to any podcast that you can think of. And I'm super proud of that. So We are on episode 8 getting released this week. And you can also find us on national radio at KGCI National Radio Station. So, which is going live on July 15th. I think I got the message today. So by the end of July, you'll find Gogopreneur on radio as well. So super proud of that. And then now I kind of have a mixture on the show. I like to interview very, very smart people who achieved something to teach us how they got to where they at. And I think we are reconnecting.
Oh, yep, we're here.
There we are. Okay. You froze on my end. There we are. So now I try to interview people that are super smart. They achieve something in life, right? To learn from their life lessons. And also in some episodes, I just monologue on a specific subject. Like I just did a training on how to hire VAs, how to find, train, and hire VAs, right? Because I have about 14 virtual assistants now. And many of them have been with me for over 4 years, and why I like to keep the same people around me, right? And I want to say I'm very successful at building a very solid virtual assisting team. And so I thought that in one of the episodes. I also had an episode that I called Money Frequency, right? Lately, I like to talk a lot about money because that's what my research is, right? I like to build wealth, leave a legacy, and kind of just share the lessons that I learned to help others not to have to go do 5 years of studying. Just take the takeaways and go build faster than I ever did.
That's amazing. Sounds amazing, guys. Yeah, I think we better check it out. So let me just make it clear for everybody. Like, how has social media played a role in your success?
Oh gosh, I wouldn't have anything without it today.
Tell us about it. Like, how is that so? Like,
so think about this, guys. I was 21 years old when I came to the US. So I have no cousins. I have no high school friends, no college friends. I barely spoke English. My real names, none of you can pronounce unless you're Hungarian, right? And so when I decided to come over here and start doing, especially when I got into real estate, I'm like, who's going to buy a house? Like, first of all, I don't know one, right? Like, besides the group of my husband's friends, I literally knew no one, right? And I'm like, so who's gonna buy a house from me, right? And I was like, okay, so I guess strangers. Okay, where are strangers? On Facebook at the time, because Instagram wasn't really a thing at the time, right? In 2011. So that's how it started. So I just started Facebook out of necessity because I did not have another way. Plus, we were broke. So it wasn't like, oh, I'm just going to spend $4,000 on little Zillow leads. I just wanted to make $4,000, right? Like I didn't have, like I could not even play with the idea of spending $4,000 on leads, right? First of all, I've never spent money on leads. So I built Gogo's Real Estate as a business page on Facebook. That's how the madness started. And then I put my partner over to Instagram. So then I started Gogo's Real Estate on Instagram. And now all of the brands, the Gogo Bethke brand or Gogopreneur brand or Gogo's Real Estate has their own business brands on these platforms. But my main one is Gogo's Real Estate. And then I pretty much built every company and every idea, all of my ClickFunnels awards, I built it with the social media marketing. Now, for a while, I did have a partner in my bootcamp, so in the Gogo's Bootcamp side of my business. We did run some Facebook ads for a while, actually quite a bit, to be honest with you, almost $500,000 worth of Facebook ads. I'm not one to like to spend money to make money. I just like to make money. Doesn't that sound great, right?
That sounds amazing.
It is not necessarily possible to make it without any expense. I do have to leverage my time, right, and have exist on all of these social media platforms for which I have to have VAs, and then they post it everywhere in the DMs and the comments and all that. So even the organic side of things comes with some expense, but not, I don't spend an arm and a leg on the Facebook ads of the world, right? And so I had to learn out of necessity how to build a brand because I was broke, and I did it with the power of social media. And today I really don't know how to do anything else but use that. Now I do have, you mentioned earlier to me that you have a massive email database, and so do I. So, but mine is not as large as yours, but it's super tight, meaning that everybody who's on that list is a double opt-in. They actually want to be there. And because of that, I send one email a day. Anyone, if you want to get on my one email a day, you can just go to gogobethke.com. There's going to be a little pop-up, download whatever freebie we give away, and that will get you on my list. And then you're going to get one email from me a day. I promise I do not blow up your inbox. I usually share a ton of knowledge, or I invite you to an event where you're going to get a ton of knowledge. That's pretty much what I do. And my emails get opened anywhere between a 50 to a 60% opening rate.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't have a massive email list like you. I think I have 24,000 or something like that, but I get about 50 to 60% opening rate, which means 5 to 6 people out of every 10 then I send email to them end up opening it.
That's awesome. I'm going to share with you a tip after we get on.
Oh, yeah.
You can get more subscribers on
each other.
list. Yeah. That's amazing. Okay. And so you're sharing knowledge, and what kind of tips are you showing on the newsletter?
Anything. Literally anything that I learned anything about. Like if I went to an event, like for example, I did a mastermind with Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi, the top 10 influencers in the nation, and Krista Mishra and I, we got into 3rd place. So we had a very private, small little event with Tony and 10 other influencers in the nation. And I literally sent out, I'm a huge note taker, right? So I just take pages and pages and pages of notes. And then I ask my audience, do you guys want me to share my notes with you? And they were like, yes, please, yes. And so I took so many notes. I think we ended up sending it out in 3 different emails. And literally my VA and I would sit in a Zoom call like this, and I would go through, okay, here's what I learned this one. Okay, cool, put it in this one. Okay, now I learned this one. Okay, tell this person because here's their website. This is what I learned, like who they are, where I learned it from, right? So I literally share what I know. I never send you something that I don't personally do. I don't take marketing dollars from companies. I could probably build a whole other 7-digit business just by taking on advertisers, but I never do. I never pitch anything that I personally don't use or love.
Okay. Wow. That's an amazing way you got going on. And so tell us a little bit about, the way you create content. I mean, obviously you're scheduled, and we know that that's your, mega secret of success. But what kind of is your approach to like content creation? What do you, I guess like from capture to like, creation, what is it that you do in order to be able to push out content, consistently on all the platforms and continue to build a brand?
Yeah. So I have to explain it to you it's quite complicated, but I'll try my best. Okay. So I like to create content when I'm inspired. I don't create content to create content. Okay. If I'm not inspired about a subject just to post a photo or a reel or a video or whatever, I'm not doing it. Right. So there might be 3 days and I don't post anything if I don't feel inspired. Now that's the content that I personally create. Okay. Now I have virtual assistants whose full-time job is to create the content that is a reminder, an invitation to an event, a flyer, and those type of things. So if you see those things, those were not created by me. That was created by my team, and they know when it's due, and they're going to post it on all of my platforms. If it needs to be on my feed, does it need to be in my stories? That's their job. It's not my job. When you see me in a reel or something that's a part of my personal life, I probably created that. I only do that if and when I'm inspired. Makes sense? Well, when I post something, I have Kula, and her job is to take it and plaster it everywhere. So I only post on Instagram. So if you want to talk to me directly, you're only going to find me on Instagram. Everywhere else, you're talking to one of my VAs, just FYI. So if you're messaging me on Facebook and you think you're talking to me, you ain't talking to me. You're talking to Kirill. Just FYI. Then all the other platforms, only on Instagram, then I answer all the messages personally. So if you ever want to reach me personally, please reach out to me on Instagram. So what I do is I create the content on Instagram. So when I'm inspired, I create the content on Instagram, and then Carol takes it from there and she plasters it everywhere. So she's going to go take it from Gogo's Real Estate and put it into Gogo Bethke, put it into Gogo's Real Estate team, put it into all of the Facebook groups, the LinkedIn, send it out in an email, whatever we are going to do with that content, plaster it everywhere. So I want to create on Instagram, and then Carol's job is to take it and plaster it everywhere and answer all the DMs and all of those things. And then we have an in-house designer. So all of the flyers and events and presentations and all of those things get designed by Ellen. Then Ellen gives it to Carol, and then Carol makes the social media posts, or through Meta, she can do it, put it into my stories or into my feed, right? So if it's something designed, if it's an event, an invitation or something, that's probably done by Carol. And then she also takes that same thing and she writes all of my emails and sends it out to our database.
Okay.
So everything gets multi-purpose, just not by me.
Yeah. That's incredible. That's an incredible structure you got going on. Wow. It's so excited to hear, from someone that has a brand, how it's done. So that's cool.
And then every Monday we have a meeting, right? So I literally came from our never-ending meetings. I usually don't do podcasts on a Monday. Usually I do on Tuesday at 11. I'm not sure how we got into my Monday calendar, but hey, we are here.
Let's go.
I literally came off of my company meetings. I told you I just came off of my quarter two meeting with my attorney and financial advisor and all that. I do quarterly meetings with them. But just prior to that, I had my Monday meeting. And literally that's what the type of stuff we are talking about. Okay, what events we have this week? What emails do we need to send out? What needs to be pitched? Like what we are selling invitations to this or that, or so pretty much everything, the content for the week gets created on a Monday. And then it gets plastered everywhere else during the week.
It's amazing. Yeah, congrats on that.
Thank
well, and okay, so let me ask you this: you've been in obviously a lot of transactions, right?
Yes. I'm happily retired. Though I'm happily retired. I haven't sold a house in the past few years, and I'm very proud of it.
That's amazing. I bet you are. Yeah, you're still getting paid for it, right? But you're not doing the work. So that's the greatest position to be. So when you were doing it, do you have any tips and tricks that you kind of like go by that help you either get listings faster or get houses sold faster that maybe agents can use so they can leverage and get more money?
Yeah. The best marketer wins. It's really that simple. You don't have to be the best realtor. You have to be the best marketer, right? So your job is to make sure that you exist in your local market and you're an option when someone's thinking about buying or selling. So let me put it this way. If I asked you who are the top 3 best agents in your local market on social media, not who are the best agents, but who are the best agents in your local market on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, all of these. Can you think of 3?
Wow. I mean, I personally don't follow a lot of realtors, but I mean,
most realtors
I know
get hung up on them. They can think of 3 producers, but not 3 on social media, which means the market is still open for you to take over. If you can think of 3 rockstar local agents that own that social media space in your local market, that means it's yours, honey. All you need to do is outpost them, outmarket them, and that's really what I did to take advantage of it. I wasn't the best agent. For Pete's sakes, I just moved to Pinkley from Romania. Pinkley, Michigan, from Romania, right? And Pinkley, Michigan is like yay big with 9,000 population. Like good luck going to find it on the map. But that's why I sold hundreds and hundreds of transactions in real estate in a tiny little market. Most people think that I'm like some, metropolitan area. No, population 9,000, and that includes the baby who was born like yesterday, right? So it's like, you can do it all. You just have to be what do they say? The squeaky wheel gets the oil, right? That's what you need to do. You need to be the loudest, the best marketer in your local market and exist on social media so you are an option every time. So I couldn't go to I remember the first time I realized that it's working. I was at a hot yoga class and I went over to Sephora. And this is like February in Michigan. So it's cold outside. My hair is wet. I'm in a hoodie and a big jacket and I look nothing like myself, right? And I'm trying to figure out this mascara in Sephora. And there's 2 ladies on the end of the aisle as they keep staring at me. And I'm like, do they think I work here? Or do they work here? Or what's going on, right? So I look at them. And the lady goes, aren't you the Gogo chick that sells real estate? And I was like, it's working. A, she recognized me. B, she knew my name. And C, she knew what I do for a living. And that's all you need to do. You need to build a brand where people know your name, because if they know your name, they can Google you. And they remember what you do for a living, right? So just be an option. And that's your social media. If you can't think of 3 people in your local market that they own it on social media, you're it. You have a very easy chance.
Wow. That's an amazing, realization right there. Yeah, for sure. Incredible. So let me ask you this. So how did you become the marketer you are today? Like the best marketer?
I don't know.
What'd you do there?
I'm winging it every day over here, right? I can't say I'm the best marketer. I think I do okay with that, right? I build everything on social media. I should take some credit for it. Okay, I take a little credit for it. But you just really, it's that simple. Just stay consistent and be loud. And also, nobody is going to wake up today to tell the world how amazing you are. Like, unless Julian, you would not known that I'm top 125 most influential people in the U.S. by Success Magazine in 2023. You would have not known that I had 3 comical awards if I didn't tell you on my social media, right? You would have not known that I built a community if I didn't tell you on my social media. You would have not known that I have millions of dollars in real estate investments if I didn't tell you on my social media. You would have not known I'm a great marketer if you didn't go to my social media and Didn't screenshot, then I reached 2.6 million accounts this month on Instagram alone. 2.6 million people. You know what I was thinking? I'm like, I wonder if there are countries in this world that have less population than that. And sure are. There's like, I don't know, there's like 10 plus countries like Latvia, Estonia. They're literally, the whole country's population is less than what I reached this month, just on Instagram alone. That's like if every person in Latvia saw my post. It's crazy, right? Yeah. So you can absolutely do anything. You just have to be that squeaky wheel and give them something to watch. Now, you can be boring and get up there and be like, well, the market reported Binkley, Michigan, there's 329 homes on the market. And average, the home stay on the market for 14 days. The average square foot per home is 3,225 square foot. And the price per square foot is $175 compared to last year. Like, nobody cares. You can't do stuff like that. Nobody cares. Don't do the just sold. Don't do the just listed, because they don't care. There's nothing in it for them, right? You have to do things like, hey, this is what I achieved. This is why. This is how it's going to help you, because now I'm smarter, right? Those are the type of things. So you have to learn to do the humble brag, or what I call the shameless self-promotion.
Oh, that sounds great.
I know. Most people are like, I can't talk about myself, Gogo. I'm like, okay, then be broke.
Yeah.
When you like more, people like, that's so uncomfortable. That like, I can't do that. I'm like, okay, which one is more uncomfortable, being broke or being on camera? To me, it's way more uncomfortable to be broke.
Yeah.
I'd rather get on camera and make millions than not to be on camera and be broke.
Uncomfortable for sure. Yeah.
Pick your heart.
Yeah. Totally. You got sold. You sold me on it for sure, 100%. That's incredible.
But I'm not saying it's the only way to make money, but if you want to do it with social media, that's the way to make money.
Yeah, that is. Did you ever did you ever have a mentor or something? Did you ever take courses on marketing? Did you ever look out to other resources or?
That's copycat.
Okay, all right.
So I didn't take courses, but I did get 2018 deep on anyone's profile that's doing something better than I do. I will go to their YouTube. I will watch every video. I will sign up on their email list. I will follow if they have a training, I'm on there. If they have an event, I'm there. If they have a book, I already bought it, read it, been there. I already implemented everything that's out there. So I'm a huge, if someone been there, done that, let me copy that instead of me trying to go implement how do I say this? When someone becomes an expert, right? They probably spend 10, 20, 30 years and a lot of failures in those 30 years to know what they know today. I'd rather pay thousands of dollars to what they know today versus spending 30 years to learn the same lesson. Most people will spend the 30 years because they're saving that money. What they're not thinking about, how much money they are not making in that period of time, because they don't know what they could have known if they just bought the course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. You either save some money or you invest in yourself, and that makes you more money, right?
So save money or make money, which one? I rather make money in that period of time. I rather spend a little bit up front, learn, copy the best in the industry, and go implement. And speed, I like to say, buy speed.
Yeah, fast. That's incredible. And that it kind of, so you won a 2 Comma Club award, and it's probably not it's not surprising, because a lot of what they teach is the funnel hack, right? Which is basically copycat. It's like what you're doing. It's like, go see what everybody else is doing, go through their process and see what they're doing. If you like it, then use it. Maybe tailor.
If it's
tailor.
I mean, clearly they made millions, right? If they made millions, then why to reinvent the wheel? Go copy and implement that back into your life and make millions.
Yeah. That is incredible. So, wow. All right. So we want to touch on a little bit now on something that's more recent and fairly new to your life, which is actually you're investing in real estate right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you told me off camera before, you said you're close to hitting $4 million in
2 years
value in 2 years. So that's a lot. I mean, that's incredible. So what kind of, okay, first, what sparked your interest into investing? Why now? Why not before? And then also, what are you doing? What are you looking at that you think it's a great, a big opportunity for you?
So, I mean, I wish, everything we look at, when we look back, obviously hindsight is 2020. I wish I would have started earlier, right? But in my real estate career, I've never worked with investors because it didn't worth my time, right? They always wanted you to go look at these shady properties, $19,000, and spend 20 hours running the numbers and what the repairs would be and how much could you sell it after repairs. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can go spend that same hour in a $1.2 million and make 30,000. And over here in the 19,000, you're going to want to, reduce my commission. I'm like, I'm not dealing with it, right? So I never worked with investors. It was never worth my time. Because I didn't work with investors, I didn't learn how to find a good deal. I didn't learn how to calculate, is this a good deal or not? And those things, right? So I never felt comfortable getting into on the investment side because I just didn't even know how to run my own numbers, right? But so that was problem number one. Problem number two was 1 year I paid over $400,000 in taxes. And I was like, yeah, no. That was the last time I did that. That was the first and last time we're going to do that. We did, right? And I was like, how do all these people end up paying no taxes? Like, what do they know that I don't know? I hate being dumb. I hate not understanding something, right? So I was like, okay, clearly I need to figure out what do wealthy people do with their money and how do they reduce their taxable income, right? Because I'm not going to piss out $500,000 on taxes ever again. And so that's when I started doing the studying, and I realized that 99% of the people really got their wealth through real estate. And I was like, and I'm a realtor. And I'm not, like, I literally help other people build wealth, but then I'm not going to do that for myself and my own legacy and my children and all that. So then I started doing the research, and that's how in 2 years, I was cooking over the weekend because I'm trying to get back more to like my woman. I feel like I spend so much time in my masculinity in the man's world, right? In real estate and all of these investments, all of the meetings that I have, that I really like almost forget to be a woman sometimes. So I'm really trying to spend more time in the kitchen and cooking and being a mother and being a wife and all of those things. So this weekend I'm cooking, and I was thinking, I'm like, wow, 2 years ago, we only had this one house and this one kitchen. We only had one kitchen. Yeah. And yesterday I was doing the math, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could literally be cooking. I said 5+, but we bought into a syndication that's a 180-door apartment building. So I don't even know how many kitchens I own in that building. But in the homes that we own, we have over 5 kitchens, and I could have cooked in yesterday. And I was like, that's crazy. In less than 2 years. You know those memes when they say I was 42 years old when I learned, right? Yeah. So I was like, I was 40 years old when I learned that what it takes to invest into real estate and what does it really take to build wealth. I'm like, what have I been doing the last 40 years of my life? Why did it take me 40 years to learn it, right? So literally, I achieved something it's probably even less than 2 years, because the last property we bought was probably last year. Yeah, so it was really a year and a half that we built an almost $3.5 million portfolio, right? So I'm like, what took me 40 years to learn? And then I got it done in no time. And now you're like, oh my gosh, it's rinse and repeat. It's super simple now, right? You just have to get yourself into that, like just take that leap of faith. And literally, we ran the numbers on our oceanfront condo year to date. That condo is costing us $3,000. I own an oceanfront condo for $3,000. That's insane. Yeah. That's insane. Where the equity went up, I think 70, almost 100,000. And I did a cost segregation, which took 150,000 off of my taxable income last year.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing. Where have this been my whole life? Like, why did it take me 40 years to learn it? So these are the type of things that I like to teach in the Go Get 'Em community. Literally everything that I learn. Everything I know anything about, I'm teaching it.
Okay, that's amazing. So you mentioned, the first part is like actually understanding what a good deal is. So what kind of properties are you investing in right now? And, and what kind of the numbers look like?
So I think there's multiple different type of investor, right? I'm not investing because I need to make income, right? I'm investing for 2 reasons. A, I want to reduce my taxable income this year and use a cost segregation study to reduce my taxable income. B, ideally, I do want the property to pay for itself, but if it doesn't, even if it costs me like $150 to own the property, I'm like, I'll own a 3-bedroom, 2-bed new construction in South Carolina for $150 a month, all day. Plus, I use the cost segregation to reduce my income. We don't flip. I don't have the patience for that. I don't want more income this year. Does that make sense? Yeah. Like how do I say, like, I'm only trying to reduce my taxable income. I don't want to make more income in a sense. So then I have to figure out how to reduce it, right? So I'm investing mostly to grow through equity, through the properties, while other people paying it off. And I want to get to the point where I no longer have to work. Even though I no longer have to work now, I can't leave my Team Gogo organization high and dry because they partner with me, and I take that partnership super seriously. The Gogo community, it's my baby. It's my happy place. I love sharing my knowledge. So to me, that doesn't feel like work. But other than that, I'm planning on not adding anything else to my plate, using the income that we make, invest more. Like I think I was telling you just as we coming on here, I'm planning on, haven't talked to my husband yet because he's fishing right now, but by the end of the day, hopefully, I just talked to my tax attorney, and we are going to invest into another three-bedroom, two-bed new construction in South Carolina, which will be about a 750 to 850 portfolio, and that will take us over 4.25, 4.5, something like that.
Okay, cool. So okay, sounds great. So yeah, you want to keep more of your money. That's your goal right now. You don't want to make more money. You just want to not give it to Uncle Sam.
Exactly. Build more assets, work less, make more money, reduce my taxable income, and keep growing it every single year. Most of our income now is passive income. So I could literally stop working and I would still make the same amount of money, if not more, coming in every single month, the way our businesses are built. But I enjoy what I get to do. So I work Monday to Wednesday, no work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'm not building in a sense that I want to make more money. Don't get me wrong. I'm not against money. Money will come in just because the way my businesses are built. And now I'm concentrating on how to invest that so I don't have to pay it out on taxes.
Okay, that's amazing. And you're investing in single family homes right now.
And we have an Airbnb. We have long-term rental, short-term rental, and syndication. So I have a little bit of everything. And I also invest into Bitcoin shares, stocks, IPO, I like to have a diversified portfolio. It's such a big word. I can't even believe I'm saying that. I like to sleep good at night because in case one market goes down or the other's going to go up, I'm hoping, right? So then if I have a little bit of everything, we sleep good at night. But yeah, I don't believe in just one type of real estate investment. If you're doing it, I believe that you should kind of do it all and see what, like we manage our own Airbnb, but because we manage our own Airbnb, I'm not planning on getting another one ever again. Just kidding.
Right. It's a lot of work, right? Isn't it?
It's like running a mini hotel. You know what I mean? It's like a full-time job, and I'm not looking, nor my husband or I are looking for another job.
Yeah. I have a suggestion here. I know that car washes are really great for, reducing your taxable income. So because of all the...
Okay, so explain me that, because they're popping up everywhere. They're literally in Brighton, because we spend the summers in Brighton, Michigan, right? And otherwise we live in Florida. So we came up here. We haven't been up here since last year. When did we go down? August. So since August to now, there's like 2 or 3 new car washes on Grand River. And I'm like, how many car washes does a city need? So explain me what's the point behind that?
Yeah, so a car wash is a great property to invest in because it's cash flow producing, and there's also a lot of machinery, and that's where you get the most appreciation.
So I'm doing that with my cars, because our cars are over 6,000 pounds. So that's where
Yeah, so the 179 deduction for your 6,000 pound cars, that qualifies, as a business, expense car, so you get to write that off.
It's a
car washes.
Yes.
Yeah. The car washes are, because there's so much machinery, you get to write off, like, let's say in a single family home, you get to write off, 50 or 60% of it, right? In a car wash, you'd get to do 80% of it. So let's say the car wash was $1 million, you'd be able to write off $800,000 worth of depreciation.
Rather than see a car wash in my future, Julian.
Yeah, and also if you get the right car wash, they're pretty easy because it's a car wash is either it's you can have a tenant that is a car wash, right, that pays you rent, right? You can still depreciate it. And then you have a triple net, lease on it, which means you don't have to pay maintenance, insurance, or taxes. You could just, collect the income from it and they run the car wash. Or if you have a car wash that's kind of like self-operated, like, automated car wash, then, that just runs itself. You just fix it whenever something Great.
Yeah, I probably would do the first one. I would want a management company, and there I'm not looking for another job again. I would just want the real estate tax write-off.
Right. Yeah. Another good one is
someone can rent it, run the business out of it. Everybody's happy.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a great thing. Also, mobile home parks are really good too because of all the structures and stuff. But that's a little bit.
But now I work telephone number, so now we can be friends.
Yeah, love it. Great. So okay. So tell me a little bit more about what upcoming projects or partnerships you have that you're excited about that you can share with us.
Oh, and I don't have to kill you. Okay. So the funny part in this, the bigger you get, right? There is this thing called an NDA.
Oh, I see. And
an NDA is so hard for me because that's probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do because I like to talk about everything. So imagine where I built my businesses and shared every opportunity ever crossed my path. And now I'm like, oh shit, I can't talk about that and I can't talk about that. But I can talk about a couple things. So one of the things that I think is super exciting in the real estate world, that HUD changed the ruling where in the past, a realtor could be a licensed mortgage loan officer, but could not be on the same file. So if they were the realtor on 123 Main Street, they could not be the realtor on, they could have been the loan officer on 123 Main Street. Now they can. So now you can be called a dual agent, or what we like to call a full service agent. So you're the licensed realtor and the lender on the same file. So we are creating a program where realtors are going to be able to collect a 0.5% on the mortgage side of things. Nothing's really going to change. Yes, they do have to get licensed in the mortgage side of things. Everything we do is going to be in-house. So it's just when you go through your licensing, you become what we call a full service agent, right? And then they're going to be able to collect on their transactions as well. So not only that, you're going to have you already have the buyer that you're working with. Let's say it's a $300,000 transaction, right? Now you're collecting the commission as a realtor on the $300,000, but you're also collecting a commission on the lending side because you also generated a $300,000 loan on the lending side, right? So now you're going to be able to get paid on that. So that's huge. I'm huge on making more money for the agents in the industry than we work in. So everyone who's listening, just reach out to me personally. I can send you the link to apply and see if you qualify. There are some qualification requirements for that, but I'm super excited about that, of getting paid multiple ways for the work that we already do, not creating more work for ourselves. Another thing that I'm working on, I mentioned you this just before you got on the call and I sent you the link. There's this company called Real Bricks. I recommend to all of you go to realbricks.com/gogo and create your free account. Real Bricks is a fractionalized real estate company, which means that it allows you to invest into real estate with as little as $100 with as young as 18 years of age. So it's almost like buying stocks or shares instead of having to buy the whole real estate. And also there's going to be a secondary market for that. So if you need your money back out, you can just put your shares up for sale and somebody else is going to buy your shares in that company. I'm super excited about that because now my boys are getting close to the age where they can invest. So my oldest is going to be 17 in July. So I'm super excited because now they can start investing into real estate as early as they're like the ink just dried on their 18th year birth certificate, right? So those kind of things. The fact that now Gogopreneur it's on TV, radio, and all podcasts, I'm super proud of that. The fact that the Go Get 'em community reached our first year anniversary and I get to share my knowledge and build a community around, like-minded individuals who are eager to grow and learn. I'm super excited about that. What else? Investing into more real estate. Right, I'm excited about that because I'm not excited about paying taxes.
No one is.
I don't know if no one said that. I'm excited to pay taxes, and I'm sure there's many other projects that we are working on that I was just skipping my mind. But the Real Bricks I'm super excited about because that's going to the industry. The rental program, a full service agent program, I'm super excited about that because that's going to change the industry, right? And so I'm in the business of changing lives in the industry. Super excited.
That sounds incredible. Yeah, I know. I mean, once you have a client, you're gonna either sell their home or you have a buyer or something. I mean, it's obviously greater to have another thing to be able to sell them on that makes you more commission.
And also, I mean, think of have you ever been a realtor? I don't know if you're a realtor, Julian.
I'm not. No.
So also some of the other things like we get asked all the time and we never got paid for it in the past was like, no, we love the house. We're going to stay here, but we have so much equity. We want to refinance. Who do you recommend? right? And then I would make the same lender recommendation. I'm like, go back and refinance it, go back and refinance it, right? We never got paid for that, but we generated through my career probably billions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in real estate, in mortgage transactions through the refinance, the HELOCs, the bridge loans, you name that, like the purchase loans, like all of these different things. So now our agents are going to be able to refinance their cousin in California while they have a real estate license in Michigan, right? Like they get a federal license, which means it works in every 50 states, as long as each state allows that program in there, which there's a handful of states, about 5 or 6 that don't allow dual licensing. But federally, it's in every single state, but some states are like to play by their own rules. So I'm super excited for our agents. It's not just being able to make commission on the mortgage side on the transactions that you already work for, but also being able to refinance your cousin or refinance your own house or get a HELOC.
Yeah, that's amazing. Hey, so I want to ask you one last question before we wrap up. And so, you're a woman in business. You're married, you have a husband, you have kids. How do you mix all of this together while being, a woman and, just doing it all and making it all just good,
I make it look really good.
Make it look good and easy,
I know, but as I mentioned earlier, like some things have to give. You just can't go like I go every single day from the moment I wake up until like 5 o'clock in the afternoon and then feel like going grocery shopping and run a load of laundry after. No, I'm freaking exhausted. No, I want dinner on the table and I want to watch paint dry for 2 hours and nobody talk to me. Right. And also it's like when I come off of a full day, so I'm usually back to back calls. Right. So when I get off of my calls, then I have 197 text messages and 2,000 emails. And so I'm spending another 2-3 hours just to get to the end of my phone. Right. So I'm like, this can't happen. And I don't like red dots on my phone and all of those things. So I like things taken care of before I go to bed. And like my emails and my DMs and all that is managed by my team, but my personal text message and those are not, right? Like I still have a life. Like we get invited to birthday parties, like 40th and then graduation parties, and then someone's sick, we have to go visit in the hospital. Like we have a life, right?
Yeah.
So I am super helped, meaning I have a house assistant, I have a house cleaner, I have 14 online assistants, right? So I have help from every angle. I couldn't do it without my team. I have an amazing team. I have a director of operation, Christy, who's been with me for over 13 years. We have built everything together. So she knows the in and outs of everything. I have a husband who's super supportive, and I have children who are also super supportive, meaning that they know if it's a Wednesday night at 7, they're not going to invite me out for dinner because they know I have a Why Not EXP at 8 o'clock, right? So everything that I do is super scheduled. Everyone in my life knows that, and they don't always understand it. Sometimes they get mad at me, like, oh, seriously, have another meeting, right? But this is what it takes, right? I can't just take off a Tuesday to go, cruising down the river with my friends on some flow days because that's what everybody else is doing. I'm in the office working because Tuesdays I work, right?
Yeah.
So I'm super scheduled and I have a lot of help and I try really hard, right? Like I really try really hard, and on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, not to work, spend some time with my friends in Summerley, go work out, cook, run a load of laundry, even though like up here in Michigan, we don't have a house assistant, but down in Florida, everything's always done, thank God. But up here, I really enjoy, like our house is smaller up here, and I really enjoy that little bit of taking care of everything and being the mom and playing house. So I think all of it is super important. I would not want to have a life where something gives, meaning I don't want to be overweight and be a millionaire. I don't want to be, divorced 4 times to be a millionaire. I don't want to have children that don't talk to me and be a millionaire. I have met so many miserable millionaires and not so many billionaires, but I have met a couple of billionaires. But I really would like to have it all together, meaning that I've been married for 21 years happily, and I hope that both of us meant it happily ever after, right? And hopefully we got a very long, nice life. Like my grandparents lived a long time, been married for a long time. My husband's grandparents, when they passed, I think they were married for almost 70 years. Like I would like to be able to see that, right? We have a very good relationship with our children. We spend a lot of time together. We do a lot of vacations together and all that. We really have a very good family life. I have amazing friends. I have friends who've been friends with me since kindergarten. I have friends who I've made here in the U.S. from day one. They've been friends with me for 20 some years. And I have friends who I met through the industry that, like literally I have someone who's driving from Canada on Thursday just so she can spend one night with me. We can go out to dinner. And then Friday she's driving back to Canada another 4.5 hours, right? So I have amazing, amazing people in my life. And I believe that you need to have a good balance of whatever you call balance, meaning that I love a morning where I wake up before everybody else. I love to drink my coffee in peace and quiet. Nobody talk to me as long as there's coffee in my cup. Like if they wake up and they start chitty-chatting, I just show them the coffee mug. I'm like, there's coffee in it. Don't talk to me, right? And like I like taking Thursdays to Sundays off. I like to be super busy Monday to Wednesday so then I can have Thursday to Friday off. That to me is balance, right? I love to travel a lot. I love to go speak on stages, right? Where many people are like, seriously going on another trip? And I'm like, yes, I get to go on another trip, right? We're all expenses paid for. Yes, I love it, right?
That's awesome.
So
Yeah.
I think balance looks different to everyone. I know what's super important to me. To me, God is first, family is second, business is third, right? Yes, business funds everything else, but to me, it's in that order. I talk to my parents almost every single day, which is in Hungarian. So I start my day in another language and then I continue on with English every day. So these things are super important to me. And that's what balance looks like to me. And I guess everyone gets to decide what balance looks like to them. I don't think there is a standard that everyone would be happy by. It's just, are you happy in your life? Are you happy with what's going on or what's not going on? Are you happy with the amount of money you make? Are you happy with the friends you have and the family you have and the weight that you have? And if you are, I call that balance.
Amazing. Okay. Thank you, Gogo. You've been such a great guest today. I really appreciate you. Hope to have you on in the future or collaborate in the future. And yeah, it has been great. And so last thing,
yes,
Instagram is the best way to reach you at?
Yes, you want to talk to me personally, Gogo's Real Estate on Instagram, but you can find me under Gogo Bethke pretty much everywhere. GogoBethke.com would be a great source for everything that we talked about here today. But the brands are GogoBethke.com, GogosRealEstate.com, GogosBootcamp.com, GogoPreneur.com, and GoGet'emCommunity.com.
Go get them. All right. Awesome, Gogo. Thank you so much. All right. Hope you have a great day.
Thank you so much, you too. Thanks for having me, Julian.